Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is The Porch on Windy Hill, a new play with old music. Now, before I get into this, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so that I can keep exploring more theater and we can have more discussions about what's going on in the world of theater. Now, I have to start by saying I'm a big fan of bluegrass music, so I was naturally excited about the show. So I reached out to the press team to request tickets, and they were kind enough to accommodate me, which made it possible for me to see the performance live and experience the music close up. So let's start with a little history of this play's development. The Porch on Windy Hill is a new work, but it's built on very old music. Bluegrass, Appalachian, and old-time traditions that inform the story and the characters. What's unique about this production is that the writers are also performers in the show, wearing multiple hats to bring their vision to life. The play was conceived, directed, and co-written by Sherry Stregach Lutkin, while David M. Lutkin, who plays Edgar, also co-wrote. Morgan Morris, who plays the role of Beckett, is another co-writer, and Lisa Helmy Johansson completes the writing team. This collaborative approach allows the play to take full advantage of these performers' musical skills. But it also means that the story is closely tied to the specific actors on stage. The writing and performances were clearly developed hand in hand, which explains why the show feels so musically authentic. Now, the synopsis. The Porch on Windy Hill follows Mira, a biracial Korean-American classical violinist, and her boyfriend Beckett, a folk music enthusiast, as they travel from Brooklyn to the mountains of North Carolina. Their goal is to reconnect with the roots of bluegrass and Appalachian music, but along the way, they unexpectedly reunite with Mira's estranged grandfather, Edgar. Mira has not seen Edgar since she was 8 years old, and their relationship is complicated by past family tensions rooted in prejudice and misunderstandings. Through live performances woven throughout the story, the play explores themes of family, identity, and reconciliation, showing how music can bridge divides and heal old wounds. I felt like this play was written for me. Growing up, I studied viola and violin. I picked up guitar during the pandemic, and I lived in Korea for 2 years and speak Korean. The performers in this are much better at playing their instruments, but I might be better at speaking Korean. But we'll get into all that. Now, let's talk about what works and what doesn't work as well. The music is the heart of this play, and it's fantastic. The performers are all multi-instrumentalists, and the songs feel authentic and heartfelt. They do a great job of showing how important music is in the lives of these characters without relying on it to move the plot forward, which is why I think it's called a new play with music as opposed to a musical. Correct. The scenic design by Andrew Robinson is another highlight. The porch of an old house looks perfectly natural in this intimate black box space, which really grounds the play beautifully. The performances themselves had an interesting arc. In the beginning, Mira and Beckett were a bit too broad for such an intimate space, which sometimes made the acting feel untruthful. Edgar, on the other hand, was grounded and naturalistic right from the start, which worked perfectly in this small theater. By the second act, when the characters have had a drinking scene with some moonshine, Mira and Beckett relaxed noticeably, and that looseness allowed their performances to feel more authentic and really helped the ensemble gel in this intimate environment. Now, there are some issues. The pacing can feel a bit slow, especially in the first act, where the story takes a backseat to musical interludes. Mira's motivations for me were sometimes unclear. She clearly wants to confront her grandfather, but she hesitates in ways that aren't believable given her outspoken character. Beckett's role is mostly supportive, and there isn't much tension between him and Edgar, which keeps the stakes relatively low. These issues make some moments feel uneven or less urgent than they could be. So, to the big questions, was I bored? Not really. Even with the pacing issues, the music kept me engaged and the performances settled in beautifully as the play progressed. Was I confused? A bit, Yes, the main source of confusion comes from Mira's hesitancy and the one-sided nature of the conflict. Her anger towards both her grandfather and Beckett is only fully explained gradually, and it kind of made her initially unlikable and puzzling. Now, if I put on my dramaturg hat for a minute, I have a few unsolicited suggestions. One, clarify Mira's hesitation. The audience needs a clear reason why Mira doesn't confront her grandfather immediately. Because her character is someone who speaks her mind. And maybe adding some kind of external or emotional obstacle would make her internal struggle more compelling. Number two, use the van breaking down. Early in the story, the couple's van has a tendency to break down. Making this a plot point would force Mira to stay with her grandfather even when she'd rather leave, creating a natural tension and giving her a reason to finally address her feelings with him. Number three, add an issue in Beckett and Mira's relationship. If there is an issue that needed to be resolved between Mira and Beckett, then you could have their relationship grow as a result of this road trip. And it does a little bit, but not as much as I want. Perhaps Beckett is angry that Mira is so closed off, and Beckett feels that she doesn't trust him enough to share with him these past traumas. He didn't know about her grandfather. He didn't know about any of this. And I feel like to someone who's on the verge of asking a woman to marry him, he would want her to share more of her personal feelings and family history. Four, and this is kind of crazy, but introduce racial tension through Beckett. If Beckett were played by, say, a black man, it would heighten the stakes and give Edgar a chance to demonstrate his growth since initially objecting to Mira's mother marrying outside her race. This could give Edgar a beautiful moment of helping them to patch their strained relationship, showing that he had changed through action rather than words. Now, despite these issues, the play remains a heartfelt, intimate, and musically rich experience. The cast skills on multiple instruments is really impressive, and the music alone is worth seeing this show live. Additionally, there is a cast album available, which captures the performances beautifully, or so I assume, and is a great way to experience the music again. And finally, if you can, attend one of the Sunday evening post-show hootenannies. They are taking the music from the stage into a bar down the street where the performers invite audience members to bring instruments and play along. It sounds like a lot of fun, and it's the perfect complement to seeing the show. In conclusion, The Porch on Windy Hill was an enjoyable time in the theater. The music, the performances, the intimate setting really carried you through, but it can be confusing at times due to pacing and character motivations. With a few dramaturgical tweaks clarifying Mira's motivations, using the broken down van as a forcing function, and adding tension through Beckett's character, the play could feel tighter and more dramatically satisfying without losing any of the music that makes it so enjoyable. So, Urban Stages is an incredible off-Broadway theater dedicated to developing and producing new works. It gives emerging artists a space to experiment and grow. So supporting them means supporting bold, original storytelling and keeping vibrant, intimate theater alive in New York City. Their theater is on West 30th Street. It's very intimate, so you will always have a great seat to enjoy their productions. So go check out The Porch on Windy Hill at Urban Stages and come back and tell me what you thought. And if you're interested in plays with similar themes and theatrical devices used by The Porch on Windy Hill, check out my review for Beau the Musical, Buena Vista Social Club, and Cult of Love.
Don't bore me, don't confuse me. If you do, then you'll lose me. Don't want to drift away, want to stay inside the play. Keep me engaged, keep me amused with what's in front of me.